Hey John, this is Dave from ChiefTutor.com. Well, welcome to Chief Architect. I'm sure you're going to love this program. It's pretty awesome. Thanks for sending in your email. Thanks for signing up to Chief Tutor. We offer thousands of symbols and textures and training videos and all that good stuff at ChiefTutor.com. So feel free to enjoy it. You were asking about beams. What's the best way to do exposed beams for the exterior porch? So I got your plan open here. Let's take a look. The first thing I notice is the cursor. Notice how it's changed to this icon where it shows this landscape with some arrows popping up. And that's this guy here. It's asking you to build the terrain. Now there might be something going on with your terrain. The reason why it keeps asking you to build the terrain. You'll notice the cursor even appears in the 3D view like this. So if I were to simply go and say build the terrain, the icon would go back to the way it normally is. But once we make a change with something, you'll notice it'll come back because it's trying to figure it out. So just double click on the terrain and choose this auto rebuild. So it'll just rebuild the terrain for you. So that'd be good. And then the icon will go away. So that's step one. Okay, step two, what I see here on your porch is it looks like, yeah, you've made a porch with its own posts, its own railing. And it looks like you made an invisible wall here, which was great. This is all a fantastic way to do it. There's so many ways to do this. So what you've done and what you've started is probably good. And let's just use that method where you've used railings. Now it looks like you got the front rail the way you want, but maybe the sides aren't behaving the way they should. So there's an easy way to fix that if you've already gotten this run of your railing correct, then you can use it to just draw right over the old one. And then so by doing, you've kind of corrected it to all match. And now when you look at 3D, it's a much more cleaner look all the way around this building, the same posts all the way around. And you can choose to show a post there, show a half post there, show no post there. In the railing specification, you can do all kinds of stuff. But let's talk about the beams. You have already a rail with the column chosen and the header chosen. So it's drawing all that in. And notice how it kind of fixed the header now on this side and this side, so it's all correct now. So let's use this method. And the best way to do that, I find, is with the elevation tool. This tool up here, it's called cross section elevation. And you kind of stand in front of the porch that you want to work on, left click one time, and notice your angle. You want to get it straight on so it makes sense, and let go. And it'll generate the front view of your house, and you can scroll in and out quite easily with the roller on your mouse. And you can use framing members that Chief has to build, but I always like to use 3D solids when I'm doing exposed beams on the outside. Because sometimes I'll want to curve the wood. Sometimes I'll want to shape the wood in an odd size. And it's very difficult sometimes with Chief to do that with their beams and column tools and their posts and stuff. But for their solid tool here, you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to select the solid tool and I'm just going to draw a beam going straight up. And right now this beam, I have it at 8 inches, which I can manipulate easily by just selecting it, and then the height. And if I double click, I can choose the depth of it. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to draw something like that. So let's start again. I'm going to start up here, and the first thing I'm going to draw is kind of like the header beam on top here, the ridge beam. So I'll draw it into the position I want it, and I'll double click it, and I'll make it like, I don't know, 60 inches deep or something. And then let's go to the 3D so we can kind of see what we've done. If I go into the 3D, I can see there's my beam. And I can use my eyedropper tool to quickly pick up wood and apply the texture to it. And if I zoom in and I notice that the texture is kind of going in the wrong direction, I have this cool feature where if I pick up that wood color and before I spray what I want, I come over here and I use this copy selected material. And so it copies it for me. And I can go into it and say on this particular copy, I want it at 90 degrees, and I'll spray it one time. And you'll see the wood now is going in a much better direction for yourself. And so I'll pull it out to about there. I'll see, is that how far I want to stick out? Sure, that sounds about fine. And there we go. And if I go to my elevation section, it'll show nicely what's done there. I can also grab it, copy it, paste it in place. So I've made another copy. Holding down control on my mouse button or control on the keyboard, then my mouse button, I left click on the beam, and now I can place it where I want it to appear over here. I'm going to just do the exact same thing, copy and paste in place, and drag this one over here. Now there's many ways to copy and paste and drag, but you just have to play around till you get it to what you like. And so as I'm doing this, I notice that this attic wall from this invisible wall is generating. Now there's many things I can do about it. I'm going to just choose the delete option to get rid of it, and then it comes back again. I'm going to delete it one more time. The second time it'll make it like an invisible wall, so it'll make it disappear completely. So that just kind of helps me in my visualization of the 3D. So I'm happy with that now. Now I'm going to make an actual post like we did before, a king's post. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to end it onto my beam up here. And I don't really care where it's being built. I just want to line it up, and then let's make it like 4 inches or whatever we need to do. And we can also grab the wood color and apply it there. And I noticed too actually that your attic wall back here is wood, right? And if I were to just delete that, it'll regenerate the wall for me in the brick. And if it doesn't quite do it right, it's probably because our ceiling isn't connected. I noticed that your roof lines weren't exactly connected correctly. So I could say this edge, hit number 2 and conjoin to that edge. Hit this edge, hit number 2 on the keyboard and conjoin to that edge. And what I'm doing is I'm using this conjoin tool, this tool here, where join roof planes together. And by doing that, it combines the roof a little bit tighter. And now when it builds the attic wall, it should spend a little bit more time and attention on it. Well, it still didn't want to do it. I'm going to hit F12 to rebuild, see if that does it. No, that didn't seem to do it. And then one last thing is I'm going to go into this area that you've created with your invisible wall, and under the structure tab, remove both roof and ceiling. And thereby it'll build appropriately right underneath it and give it all the, the correct look that it needs to have. And that's been Messing with Beams here at chieftutor.com. Hope you learned something new and exciting. This is a great program. You're on to a good start. You can end up making all these posts and columns yourself. Just remember that these items are solid. So if you use your material counter at the end of the plan where you're trying to count out all the 2x4s and framing and everything, these wouldn't show up as framing members unless you assign them as framing members. But this is definitely the quickest, easiest, and fastest way to go. And again, you can make all kinds of fun things at this point. Like here, now that I have this king's post, and let's just see if I have it in the right spot. I'm going to grab it and say, no, I want it to be right on that beam like that, like so. But now that I have it exactly in the right spot where I want it, and looks like it adjusted itself a little, so I'm going to readjust it. So there it is. That's exactly where I want it to be, that king's post. But now that I have it like that, I can simply take this and go copy, paste in place, and I can angle this over. And I can use my point-to-point move and just kind of point-to-point it there. And take this guy, do the same thing, tilt him over like so, use my point to point, and I'm going to use my point to point again because I didn't grab where I want. I want it right in the center to attach to the center. Then I'm going to grab all 3 of these pieces and I'm going to say make one item. And do I want to keep the original? No, I don't. I just want to make one item, and thereby it makes it all one item, and it's looking pretty good. Pretty good. All right, John, thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something new, and thanks for tuning in to chieftutor.com.